Sabbath, everyone. All right, I see our Burman supporters just coming in. Come in, make yourself at home, get cozy. For the next 60 minutes, we'll take you through a nice summary of what's been happening at Burman. And you're very fortunate that you will have full representation this afternoon. We have students, a professor, our very own alum, Romando Carey, and then Dr. Lauren Agri will hand over and tell us about the official business of Burman University. And so I want to welcome you to Camp Foothills, but more specifically to the Burman Hour. My name is Iwanette Stewart, and I guess I represent the staff at Burman. At the end of our presentation today, please join us at our booth. We have some giveaways, as well as we'll be doing our scholarship draw. So if you want to put your name in for someone you know who is interested in post-secondary learning, specifically Adventist education, please put their name in and they can be eligible for a scholarship, providing that your name gets pulled. So before we get into our program, I will just start us off with prayer, and then I will hand it over to our student, Naomi B., to lead us out in a special song. Please bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the benefit of Adventist education, and more specifically, the work that you have given all of us to do at your university here in Canada. We pray, Lord, that you be with us as an institution. Help us to continue to shine your light here in Alberta and Canada. We thank you for the representatives that we have here who will share with your people the work that we have been doing in the past year. And we're so thankful for the blessings that you have in store for us. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. All right, I will hand it over to our student, Naomi B.
but give me Jesus. And when I come to die, give me Jesus.
With everyone. Happy Sabbath, everyone. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you very, very much. Naomi is a recent graduate of Burman University. She graduated this year. And Naomi is, unfortunately, one of the recent alumni of Ubuntu. Which I'm going to talk to you about just now. I'm hoping we can have the presentation on the screen here. So Ubuntu is a choir at Burman University. It's our most recent official choir of Burman University in the music department. And Ubuntu means I am because we are. I am because we are. It's a Zulu word that is translated, I am because we are. And here's our story. I don't expect you to read all of that, but in 2017, I received a Dare to Dream scholarship to Burman University. No, let's go back to the original one. I received a Dare to Dream scholarship to Burman University, and the name of that scholarship was quite fitting because I decided to do just that, Dare to Dream. And we opted to create a choir that was going to solve a particular need or fill a need that I had noticed on campus. I am fond of singing, I'm fond of music, and I'm also fond of community and excellence. And so I endeavored to create a group that was going to sum up all of that, a group that was going to provide especially for students of color an opportunity to worship in their heart language, what I call your heart language, singing music that makes you move, singing music that communicates to your heart, singing music that you resonate with so that you can actually communicate well to other people. And so we created Ubuntu. And this Zulu word, it describes an African way of life. It is a culture, not just a word, but it's a philosophy that describes a way of life that celebrates the fact that you and I, no matter what we look like, no matter where we're from, we are joined inextricably by one thing, by our humanity. We are all the same at heart. We're humans. And so we celebrate the things that make us happy. We mourn the things that make us sad. And so we use our music to tell the stories that are usually untold and stories that oftentimes we don't hear in choral music. Our objectives can be summed up in two things. We strive to facilitate community, and we pursue relentlessly excellence. Excellence and community. Those two things are what we value most. And so the objectives you see listed there are just a spelling out of that. So we celebrate Black musical ideals, and we highlight the work of Black composers. So most of the songs we do are Negro spirituals or African American church music and African American folk music. And we celebrate the work of Black composers, those deceased, those alive. And we look forward to this coming year of celebrating that some more, and also including other forms of music that are representative of the people in our group. These are the methods we use to achieve excellence and community. So we offer voice lessons to our members. Each and every member of the choir receives voice lessons by yours truly. And we offer opportunities for our students to conduct the choir. Community is a big deal for me. And we chose the name Ubuntu, I am because we are, because this director doesn't know that much. I don't consider myself to be the reservoir of wisdom or of all talent. And so I invite the members of the choir to take ownership of their own experience. And so they conduct the choir. Pictured here is Tanisha Diligence, who is our student conductor. And so she, from time to time, will conduct. Also, we have Sean Capacasa, who is also a student conductor. And anybody who's interested in actually learning and trying, we give them those opportunities so we can create good music together. Members lead worship at the beginning of each rehearsal. Worship is extremely important to us. And to build community, we have retreats at the beginning and the end of the year. We have potlucks, because who doesn't like good food? And some social outings to build our relationships with each other. We also study together. Academically, we thrive together. So we have homework parties. We come together and we study and we write papers together, and we learn from the people who've done the same courses we're currently doing, because we want to succeed all together as a community. And we invite influential Black speakers to come and talk to our group so that they can continue to motivate them to aspire towards achieving their goals. We perform off campus and in local churches, as well as we do performance tours. Recently we did one in Alberta, and our hope is to travel east this year. There are currently 30 people in the choir, and it's a quite ethnically diverse group. And I know we've been talking about celebrating Black music and Black composers, but we don't limit the choir to just Black students. Anybody is welcomed. Anybody who wants to learn and celebrate this genre is welcome to join. And so we have members from 6 African countries, 5 Caribbean countries, Canada, America, the Philippines, Peru, and even Venezuela are represented in this group of students. Oh, and Turkey. I forgot to put that on there. And our impact, the impact we've had on members. Our members admit that were it not for this choir, they would not have spent time getting to know each other, because they're all so different. We live on a really, really diverse campus. And were it not for spaces and groups like this, our students probably wouldn't spend as much time with each other, learning the culture of others, and just getting to know people as humans. Some of the highlights from our year, or the 3 years that we've been a choir at Burman. This year, we had our first, our inaugural concert on song, and that was a tremendous success. I really enjoyed that. It was quite the celebration. I loved every moment of it. And we do Black History performances. So yearly, we headline at concerts in Calgary and in Edmonton, at the Jubilee Auditorium, and other venues in Calgary and Edmonton as well. We do virtual performances. I mean, we had to. Who didn't do a virtual performance in the last 2 years? But that gave us quite a bit of exposure and opportunities to perform across the world, in the Caribbean, all across Canada, and even do online shows like Acoustic Energy. And then this year, we had our first tour. It was a local one, and we performed in the major cities of Alberta. And we also did some music workshops in Adventist academies. Burman is a place where you get to create your own experience. That's what I tell to every prospective student to Burman. It is a place where you get to create your own experience. And being the Caribbean child I am, that's something I grew up learning. You don't sit around and complain about what's not available to you. You create it. you do something about it. And so we felt as though we needed to see a space like this where this kind of music is celebrated on our campus, and so we created it. But we wouldn't have been able to do that without the help, without the support of the Student Services Department, the EDI committee, so many people who are invested in making sure that students succeed. And whatever ideas you might have, just bring it to the people who can help you get that done. And if you are a Burman student here right now, come talk to me about stuff you want to get accomplished. I'll help you get it done. If you plan on attending Burman, this is an experience you will have. If you are missing something on campus, there are people who are willing to help you make it happen. And so I didn't just create Ubuntu. Ubuntu ended up creating me, and it prepared me for all the roles that I currently hold, having graduated. So to wrap up, we're just going to share 2 testimonials with you. And this is from one of she wrote this when she was a freshman, Danelia Frey. She says, about a year ago, I had the opportunity to visit Burman University to see if it would be the place I would choose to continue my education. The first night, my friends and I arrived. After settling into our rooms, we went over to the church to see what was going on. From outside the doors, we would hear the majestic voices of the Ubuntu choir. The beautiful and effortless blend of voices made me feel safe, warm, and at home. Ubuntu played such a huge role in my decision to go to Burman University. Seeing and hearing a choir like that on this campus made me feel like I belonged. And that's exactly why we have this choir, to make sure that all our students feel a sense of belonging. Catherine McNulty, who's now a graduate, says, long before I even got to Burman, I heard about Ubuntu. I stalked their Instagram page and videos people had made, and I was in awe. The voices and music were so beautiful, and I know I wanted to try out to be a part of something so great. I wouldn't trade my time in Ubuntu for anything. Ubuntu gave me the chance to meet new people and sing and be a part of a new family that praised God together. It definitely made my time at Burman unforgettable. And this year, we achieved one of our goals, which was to become an official choir of Burman University, thanks to all those who helped and supported us to get this far. And as a result of that, each member of the choir, if they come in with entrance scholarships that require them to fulfill the requirements of those scholarships within a music entity on campus, can do that in Ubuntu. So you want to renew your scholarship, simply put, you want to renew your scholarship in Ubuntu, you can. And so this is quite the accomplishment. We're very proud that we can offer scholarships to our students. So they don't just do it for the love of it, which is important, but we can also support them financially to get their education. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you for supporting our noble institution.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve Reeser. I'm chair of the Religious Studies Department at Burman University, and I'm also one of the executive directors of something called the Burman Ministry Center, which I want to share with you just a bit. I've also been here every morning at the 7 a.m. morning devotional. How many of you made it to the 7 a.m. morning devotional time every day? All right. Yeah, me and Dave were here. I think there were quite a few people made it most of the days. There were some steady and faithful members that were there every morning at 7 in the morning. That's hard at camp meeting because, well, there's a lot happening at camp meeting. We had a wonderful time together. It was my pleasure to share with you. The Burman Ministry Center is a new development on the campus of Burman University, and I just would like to share a short clip if that is queued up and ready to go.
We are
And I'll talk some
delighted
more.
to introduce the Burman Ministry Center,
A new
initiative in Burman University's commitment to support the work of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Canada. We're focused on people, every church member, and every pastor in Canada.
Our goal is to provide you with important resources that will help your ministry and your church share the gospel of Jesus Christ. We are partnering with every level of the church to support the equipping of ministers and lay people who are sharing the gospel of Jesus through a broad array of ministries.
Is God calling you to pastoral ministry? Spend next summer exploring your call in a local church with our Next Gen Summer Pastoral Internship Program. We sponsor annual evangelism conferences to develop Canada-wide strategies that grow the kingdom of Christ. We are starting research here in Canada to identify the best ways to reach souls for Christ.
Whether you are a pastor, parishioner, or student, you can join this study and better reach your community for Jesus. Through student missions, digital ministries, and innovative social media outreach, we are engaging young people to serve their local and global communities.
God wants you to shine, whether through an overseas mission trip or by recording and sharing that song that God has placed on your heart to sing. Shine your light. Serve your community, your nation, your world.
Now is the time to light this planet with the good news that Jesus is coming soon. To learn more, visit burmanministrycenter.ca or follow Burman Ministry Center on social media.
Just a little over a year ago, a year and a half ago, Dr. Lindsay Chinigadu, who teaches theology and history and practical theology at Burman University, and I had a chat. We talked about the need of Burman being able to support the work of evangelism across Canada. And so Lindsay has spearheaded something that spring, a Canada-wide evangelism conference. I said, Lindsay, that's awesome. That's great. We need to be doing more of these kind of things. About a month later, Kevin Kears, who was teaching in the outdoor leadership program at Burman University, sat me down and said, we need to do something for the young people across Canada. Burman's in a place where we can serve, be of service to the church in Canada. And I said, that's a great idea, Kevin. And as we talked more, and I talked more with Lindsay, we began to bring those two visions together in a very small way. And then we made the mistake of talking to Lauren Agri, Dr. Agri, who's in charge of it all at Burman. And he helped to inspire us to a bigger vision. Just about the same time, we had a donor say, how could I help? How could I help with something that's happening at Burman? Well, things snowballed, as they sometimes do, when the Lord is moving, and when the Lord is opening doors, and when the Lord is working. We simply walk where He's guiding us, and that's what we have been doing the last year and a half at Burman. Now, you've probably heard, if you were at the Sabbath School program today, you know that Parkview Adventist Academy is in a new building. And hopefully you've had a chance to stop by and visit their new building. It's a beautiful place, beautiful space, very unique, and they love it. But yes, you do. But that meant they had to leave their old building. And when they left their old building, I cast my eye on the building and said, I would like to move the Religious Studies Department to the old PAA building. And graciously, the administration at Burman allowed my department, as well as the business department, to inhabit that space, which gave both of our departments maybe, 10 times as much space as we had before, Elmira? It was a lot. We felt like we could stretch our arms, and part of that process allowed us to develop the Burman Ministry Center, because we needed space to do that, and we now have that space. You can go to the next slide. So what is the Burman Ministry Center, and what do we do? What does it do? Well, one, we want to support young pastors. Of course, as a training facility for ministers, we support them as they are in their formative training years in our degree program. But we want to be able to support them after they leave our halls and head out into the ministry across Canada. In those first few years, ministry is difficult. Well, no, ministry is difficult all those years, isn't it? But in those first few years, it's crucial that you're not fully disconnected from the support systems that you had while you were at Burman, the friends that you had as you move into ministry. And so we want to provide a continued support system and regular opportunities for our young pastors to continue to grow, meet with one another. Of course, we are a university, and that means our students come first. And one thing we are serious about in the Religious Studies program at Burman University is opportunities for practical learning. One of the things I'm most excited about, through the support of a donor, through the support of the SDACC and the NAD, as well as local churches and local conferences, all of us coming together, we are able to provide paid pastoral internships every summer for our young students to go, and their summer job is to be a pastor in a local church, support that church, learn under a trained mentor pastor that can help them to catch a vision for pastoral ministry and evangelism and youth ministry. Catch a vision for it, get them excited about working for Jesus. So when they come back in the fall, their classes will mean all that more to them. And then when they graduate, they'll have had a modeling of effective pastoral ministry from one or more mentors through the summer pastoral ministry program. And I just want to say this: if you feel like God is calling you to ministry, if you feel that calling on your heart, and if you're anything like me, you've been fighting it, but if you feel God's calling you to ministry, you don't even have to have started your training program at Burman. All you have to do is enroll for the fall, and you will be eligible to do that internship program before you even start. It's a good way to get your feet wet, as they say, before you even begin our program. As I'd mentioned, we are in a new building, and that allowed us to carve some space out at Burman University for a dedicated studio for recording audio as well as video, specifically for ministry. And this is, of course, it's available for all of our students to use from any degree program, but it's also available for any church member across Canada can come and book time in our studio and be able to share what God has put on their heart, whether that's original music that they've written, they'd like to record, or podcast, or some other message. We then take that and we disperse it through social media, through our website. We want to take the light that God has given you to shine. We want to help you share that as broadly as you can across Canada. Can you go to the next slide, please? I'd mentioned before we have an annual Canada-wide evangelism conference. This last year, I would like to tell you a lot about this last spring's evangelism conference, but it was a French evangelism conference for the French work in Canada, and so which meant I didn't understand much of what happened, but they were passionate, and I know good things were planned, good strategies were developed. This next spring, we're going to be hosting an evangelism conference that looks specifically on rural evangelism, how to reach rural communities and what we used to call dark counties in Canada. We are engaged in demographic research in Canada that supports the church. What is the state of the church, and what is the relation of the church in various communities across Canada? We also want to support evangelistic-centered research. That means when we initiate an evangelistic event, how effective is it, and in what ways is it effective? because we want to be able to put our best efforts into the most effective paths for winning souls for the kingdom. Next slide, please. Now, this is something, if Kevin Kears were here, this is what he's so passionate about at our center. Just so excited about this. Mission opportunities. So as all of you know, we have the opportunity of sending student missionaries from Burman University overseas. The Burman Ministry Center, though, is now the first center in all of North America that is able to support missions, both long-term and short-term missions, for young people and not so young people, but to support overseas missions for anybody across Canada, even if you're not a student at Burman University, but you have a calling on your heart to go share the love of Jesus overseas. We're there to help you initiate the process and support you while you're over there. And I hope, my prayer is, that we will see young people catching just a passion for serving Jesus, not just in their communities, but elsewhere. And finally, we know that social media can have an intensely negative effect on the health of young people and the health of our communities, but something that powerful can also have a positive effect as well. We're wanting to envision and project for our young people a positive rather than negative experience in their social media. And so we're wanting to partner with people who are social media influencers to get the good news of Jesus and his soon return, and to share original content that lets people know that there's hope in this world and that life is more, much more than simply the false life that people project on social media. There's real life, and there's good life, and that's why we're here. Thank you very much for letting me share. Come check us out, burmanministrycenter.ca, or look for on your social media for the Burman Ministry Center. And if you have something on your heart that you want to share with the world, come talk to us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lauren Agri, and after hearing the reports and the stories and the music, I just am so thankful I have the privilege of being a part of Burman University, but we are excited to be here today. It's been a while, 3 years since the last camp meeting, and it's really, truly a delight to be back. The year 2020 really was unprecedented in the fact of what the pandemic had impacted the entire world, but it impacted our campus significantly as well. Burman students had to immediately switch to an online experience to finish the year off in March of that year. And the faculty were flexible and willing to learn themselves and adjust their approaches on how to teach. And also to help the students make those adjustments. Our students certainly succeeded in their studies because members of the faculty were determined, despite that new reality, to teach and advise them in a renewed sense of commitment. Other changes included all faculty members then taking a course through the summer on teaching, best practices in teaching online. And the development of online courses then for the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Canada, or SDACC teachers, were developed. Changes were made to accommodate the reality that while most students were able to return home, there were still a few that found the campus to be their very best learning environment, and so they stayed. We made place for them. Even though it was online, they still lived on campus. The cafeteria was open. The residence halls continued to provide accommodations. The Student Success Center continued to work with students, not only those on campus, but also those online, to provide the support for them. And of course, custodial was busy with enhanced cleaning protocols, facility maintenance, and security continued to work, all following the physical distancing guidelines that were in place. This past year, 2021-2022, marked our first year of being back in person. And while we still had to adhere to those Government of Alberta health guidelines, our students thrived as they were able to come back to school, to be together, to study, to socialize, and to worship together. And talking about worship, one of the very first events we have on our campus, we start both semesters actually with our week in spiritual emphasis. We call it WISE Week, Week in Spiritual Emphasis. Nothing really sets the tone for the year like our WISE programming. Our first semester WISE this past year was presented by one of our alumnus pastors. He's pastoring in Detroit, Michigan now, Pastor Ron Sidney. And with this WISE, it brought back the first in-person chance for students to worship together and fellowship together, and that was so meaningful. Winter term then starts with the winter term WISE, and this, as with every year, this year it was led by students. It's so special to go and to hear the experiences that these students bring, how they have been spiritually fulfilled and lifted in their experience, and they want to share with their friends. A very important part of our fall WISE Week is what we call Service Day. We cancel the classes for an afternoon, and we go out and make a difference in our community. We go as students, as faculty, as staff, and we serve Lacombe, our immediate community, in a variety of ways to make that positive difference in the lives of others, from highway cleanup to food bank participation, to providing music in nursing homes, to, here's a very interesting, unique one, cleaning headstones in the cemetery for our community. All sorts of a variety of activities, but we go make a difference in our communities. One other initiative that we have emphasized this year, and the last few years actually, is EDI. You heard Romando talk about it. Equity, diversity, and inclusion. And there's just so many ways that we want to help improve lives in our campus community, and this is one of the ways we do it. We at Burman affirm the values of diversity, and we place high priority on ensuring an equitable, inclusive environment for all. And so we have a committee, the EDI committee. There's actually a special assistant to the president for EDI. And this committee and the special assistant all work together, seeking opportunities for diverse perspectives being able to be shared across campus in academic programs, in learning outcomes, greater understanding and trust with minority students on our campus. And I have to say that it is one of the most exciting, vibrant committees that we have on campus, if you can think of a committee that would be exciting. One of their initiatives this past year, their focus was on Indigenous culture. And one event that really brought it back home to us was an activity called the blanket exercise. It's based on Indigenous methodologies, and the goal was to build understanding about our shared history as Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples here in Canada. We'd walk through pre-contact, through treaty making, through colonization, through resistance. And just through this simple exercise of spreading blankets out on the floor and having everybody step on a blanket and then start taking blankets away where people could no longer stand. And moving the blankets into smaller balls that represented the land. It really was an emotional and impacted at the intellectual level as well of the experience of our Indigenous people and helped us understand much better. A very moving experience. Probably the most exciting experience we've had this year is what took place with our new library. In April 2021, you see a picture here of groundbreaking. And we were excited to open the doors to our students this past January, just 8 months later. In fact, we held the grand opening this June of this beautiful building during our alumni homecoming weekend. If you haven't been on campus, please come. Please come, and we'd love to give you a tour of our new library. We are so grateful for all the donors, including many of you here today, for helping make this a reality and contributing to this project. I'll give you just a real quick financial update on, as of June 30, just a few weeks back, out of the $6 million capital campaign, we're down to the last 300,000, 5% left to go. We're almost there, and we thank you for helping us get there. We're calling the next and last part of our campaign the Inside Story. We still have furniture, we still have technology, we still have shelving to make it's there, but now it just needs to be paid for. The building has been paid for, we just need to finish off paying for the inside. So that's what the Inside Story is all about. A very, very generous donor has said, I will match up to $250,000 towards completing that capital campaign. And so with this matching challenge, any gift will be matched up to $250,000. Now, that's what I would say is a great way to double your money. But the students have also taken on, they've been so appreciative of this new, beautiful facility. The Student Association took on an audacious goal. They said, we would like to find, originally it was 5,000, but now it's only down to 3,000 people. 3,000 people who would just give $100 towards finishing off the capital campaign. Now, I know for some, $100 is even a lot, but maybe $10 a month for 10 months. That could work, or however you could feel helping us finish this campaign. We would be most appreciative. I'd be happy to talk with you. I'll be over at the Burman booth, the tent, just a little ways from this building here, and if you want to pick up a pledge card or an envelope, we'd love to be able to talk to you. As was mentioned already, PAA has made the full transition from being a school on our campus to now being a school under the auspices of the Alberta Conference. And we want to congratulate them for their first year in this brand new building. It's just beside the ABC and across from College Heights Christian School. They've moved in, they've completed their first year. They had their grand opening on the same weekend, our alumni weekend in June, and we're so very happy for them. You know, the academy has been connected to the university and the campus there for right back since 1907. But in fact, at one time, the academy provided secondary education for all Adventist students across Western Canada. But believe it or not, instead of 2 or 3 K-12 schools across Western Canada, today there are 11 schools. And so the need for a boarding school just began to decline, and we felt that it would be best to ensure the long-term viability of Parkview Adventist Academy. We entered into an agreement with the Alberta Conference and have transferred the ownership and the governance of PAA over there. And we are so very thankful that they have a beautiful facility now to continue the heritage and legacy of Seventh-day Adventist secondary education here in Alberta. As Steve just told us about the exciting new Burman Ministry Center, we're so happy and thankful to partner with the SDACC and the North American Division, the NAD, of making this ministry center possible, not only to reach campus, but as Steve mentioned, to reach churches, to reach the different conferences all across Canada and even beyond that. So we are very happy for this partnership, that we can make a difference in internship training, in evangelism research and strategies, in young youth and young adult ministries, supporting them as well as through digital ministries. There's another interesting, very exciting initiative on campus that was introduced this year. It's called the Saruk Center for Leadership Development. Mr. Elvin Saruk, businessman from Calgary, and his wife Grace Fadak had a vision of training young people to be leaders. And so they, along with us, other like-minded philanthropists, came forward and said, we'd like to establish this leadership center. And you can see what the purpose is here. They want to develop effective leaders with the ability to positively impact their communities and the world. The Leadership Center's mission is to develop effective leaders, to enhance their life skills, to inspire values through service, to expand leadership activities. This first year, we had over 35 young people say, we want to be trained to be leaders. And we're so excited that all students are welcome to join. It is an expensive proposition, but the donors have said we want to make it free for students. And so we are so thankful to the Leadership Center and the strong support that is given there. You may have been listening to the news and heard an announcement about the Alberta government giving a grant to post-secondary institutions in Alberta. They have granted Burman University $600,000 to expand our School of Business and the Bachelor of Business Education program over the next 3 years. And the investment is to support more than 88 new seats for business. It's a program the government calls the Alberta at Work Initiative. It helps post-secondary institutions support the Alberta labor market not only now, but also in the future. And it will give students more opportunities to gain the skills and training they need to enter the workforce. The Minister of Advanced Education, Dr. Demetrios Nicolaides, made an announcement where he said this new investment will ensure that Alberta's workforce in this central region remains highly skilled and has the expertise needed for the jobs of today and for the jobs of tomorrow. We're so thankful that we can partner with the government to increase seats at our university. We greatly appreciate that the Alberta government has worked with the post-secondary institutions to create these real solutions for high-demand programs. We truly are going to benefit from this program. And the exciting thing is, if you know any students, or maybe you're here as a potential student, if you're interested in business, there is a $2,000 scholarship available for you if you're a new student in our School of Business, $2,000 scholarship. And talking about scholarships, I left the best for the last. I am very excited to share with you the good news of support from the 7 conferences across Canada, including the Alberta Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, along with the SDACC. They have committed to providing $2,000 scholarships for new students at Burman University. This one doesn't matter which program you're in. They just would like you to consider coming to Burman University. $2,000. There's 70 scholarships available for students to come and join us at Burman. What an exciting initiative as we work together to try to have every prospective Adventist student come and be a student at Burman. Oh, God is leading. He's led Burman University on the hilltop for the last 115 years, and we're so confident that he will continue to lead. We're so grateful also for the support that everyone from across Canada gives. Your contributions are so much appreciated towards the vision and ministry of Burman. And with your help, with our continued determination, and with God's grace, this institution will continue and remain to be a beacon to the world. Please drop by the Burman tent this afternoon, this evening. We're excited to be there, love to talk with you. Another way to stay connected with Burman is through electronic and social media, our website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're happy to tell you the good news that way. But I want to thank you for coming out this afternoon. It's wonderful to be a part of God's work with higher education in Canada. And may God bless each one of you today. Thank you again.
So I wish that I could have brought my choir today, so you could have heard them. But I hope my song will suffice. Most of them are from multiple provinces across Canada, and so we are on break for the summer. But I'll fill in for them today.
I would love to tell you what I think of Jesus, since I found in him a friend so strong and true. I would tell you how he changed my life completely. He did something no other friend would do. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. There's no other friend so kind as he. No one else could take the sin and darkness from me. Oh, how much he cared for me. All my life was full of sin when Jesus found me. All my heart was full of misery and woe. Jesus placed his strong and loving arms around me, and he led me in the way I ought to go. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. There's no other friend so strong as he. No one else could take the sin and darkness from me. Oh, how much he cared for me. and more I understand his words of love. But I'll never know just why he came to save me, till someday I see his blessed face above. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. There's no other friend so kind as he. No one else could take the sin and darkness from me. Oh, how much he cared for